Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. And today we're going to be taking a look at somebody a little bit special because in the coming months this year, for the Earthrise War for Cybertron line, we're going to get a new version of this guy. We're taking a look, of course, at the 1984 defensive strategist for the Autobots, Trailbreaker. Now, Trailbreaker was released in 1984 as one of the first Transformer toys available. He would also be available in 1985. He would be discontinued in 1986, and we would not really get a replacement for him. Trailbreaker, as many of you obviously know, would also be remolded into Hoist in 1985. And Hoist, as I can already tell you, was already long confirmed for Earthrise when it was initially announced late last year. But apparently some new videos have come out and surfaced where they have confirmed what most of us suspected, that they will redo the Hoist toy into Trailbreaker. So, I thought for part of this year, as I try to learn about him, if I have not reviewed the originals, we're going to try to review some of the originals that are about to get remade. So Trailbreaker here is the first one to get that honor this year. At any rate, Trailbreaker here, we do have a little bit of an issue with him, and that comes in the form of the launchers that are on his arms. I don't know if this is true on all samples or if it just happens to be on mine. But mine, the launchers, the posts for the release are broken. They do not move at all, so I cannot lock his fists or his weapons into their sockets correctly, so they just hang loose. So I don't know if this is a problem with all Trailbreaker toys or if this is just one that's on mine. If you out there have a Trailbreaker that does allow them to connect in properly, please say so in the comments below. I'd love to know if this toy did actually ever have a way to hold the fists and guns properly. You saw that took no effort at all because it's not snapped in. We're going to remove these for the moment so that they don't fall out on me while we handle the toy here. For articulation-wise, Trailbreaker had relatively fair amount. As you saw there, his head could roll backwards a bit. He can raise his arm up to the side about so far, but he can rotate it at the shoulder all the way around. You might have to adjust it a little. Plus, he was one of the few that had elbow articulation. So, Trailbreaker did have a fair amount of articulation for a Transformer toy. Can't really argue with that, can we? And of course, these missiles back here, they're just on there for storage. You can do that if you wish, or you don't have to. That's kind of up to you folks. But as we get ready to transform him, we do need them out of the way. We also need this headpiece removed, too. Alright, to begin transforming Trailbreaker, first of all, let's make sure his elbows are straight down, so that his arms are completely hidden in the side panels. Then next, we're going to fold the head section down into the body and fold up the back of the vehicle. And then fold this piece out. Then we fold the vehicle all the way up so it's straight like this. Rotate the arms so that the long piece goes to the top of the vehicle here. And then fold them over Trying to keep that plastic piece in the center between them. This will help lock them in place. Then next, down here, you're going to fold his legs. Fold his feet up at the leg. Pop the legs free and slide them together in the middle. And then fold them over and secure them underneath the vehicle. And there we are. Trailbreaker is in his alternate mode. He is a four-wheel drive truck with a camper attachment on the back, as it's long been described as. It's basically he's got a truck cap on the back so that the back of the truck is covered. Primarily good if you've got passengers or sensitive or cargo that may be sensitive to the elements. Now would be a good time to point out that Trailbreaker's alternate mode is not just of any ordinary truck. He is a Toyota Hilux, which is the same truck that Hoist is, and the same truck that the GoBot Smallfoot also becomes. Because in the sometime in the 1970s into the 80s, there was a law in Japan where any toy company that was making toy vehicles like this, they had to have one in their line that it was a Toyota Hilux. I really don't understand the reasoning as to why that had to be done. I've found very little sources to actually tell me about that. You know, it's kind of, we here in America complain about the various pork laws that get thrown into our laws here. This one's just kind of strange, but, well, whatever. It did help that the Toyota Hilux was a very reliable pickup truck, as it really can take a fair amount of physical abuse and still keep running. In fact, it's been known that many insurgent groups have been known to use this truck as part of their military fleet due to the truck's reliability. Now, of course, contrary to that is the truck seen in the later seasons of the classic British comedy Last of the Summer Wine, where the character Entwistle owns a Toyota Hilux, but it is a running gag throughout the series that the truck is unreliable, mainly due to Entwistle not getting it properly serviced. So his truck often breaks down, often at key important moments. At any rate, let's take a look at this truck. How well does it roll? Because, I mean, this thing, it's on genuine rubber tires here, folks. This was back in the days when we could have this. Rubber tires on your toys. The kids today just don't know what they're missing. They get plastic wheels on their Hot Wheels. We, on our old Transformers, we had rubber. Good old rubber tires. And how well does he roll? Excellent. Rolls excellent across this table. It's almost, if I'm not careful, I may end up sending him off the table. That's how good he's rolling here. And we don't want that to happen. That would be something nice that would appear on the Earthrise version, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll worry about that when that comes out. As I did compare all the Siege ones to their G1 counterparts, and due to the popularity of that, I do intend to do that again for Earthrise when it does come out. So we'll look forward to that a little later on in the year. Now let's take a look at all of Trailbreaker's loose parts. Starting, of course, with his fists. Of course, he does have one for each side, each hand. So you can decide if you want him to have hands or not. And of course, these are the exact same fists that are used for hoist. But hoists are in green, whereas Trailbreakers are black. You have two of these twin blaster cannons. And of course, these are also in chrome. And they can also be substituted for the hands. Or, of course, you also have two missiles, which can also be substituted for hands. Or you can store them along his back. And then lastly, you have here one radar scanner. This is the piece that clips to the back of the head. And of course, this also matches a similar piece to hoist, but if you're real picky about this sort of thing, there is a way to tell which one exactly is for which, and that goes with the holes here on the front. As you can see, these are in black, so that would tell you this belongs to Trailbreaker. If you see a tinge of orange in there, then they belong to hoist. The same would apply to the other chrome pieces here, because the base plastic under the chrome would be in the same color, as some of the stuff that was included with the toy. So since hoist had a lot of things in green and orange, you will predominantly see orange underneath the chrome for his weaponry. For some reason, they didn't do the green. I don't know why, that's just what was picked. But for Trailbreaker, it's black. So, if you're picky about that sort of thing, that's the way to go. The same thing also applies for Blue Streak, Prowl, and Smokescreen. Their chrome weaponry, the color that may be showing through from it should match the color of their missile launchers. So bear that in mind, folks. Now let's take a look here at his instruction manual. As you can see, in 1984 they did these in color for some reason. Here we go. We see the entirety of everything he came with. And of course the sticker sheet behind him is the sticker sheet from the Japanese toy. Excuse me. And then we go through the transforming him. Looks like mine could benefit from a brand new sticker sheet if I could find one. Anyway, here's the last page with the stickers. Hence, that's why I'm saying I could probably stand to find one for him. Of course, this one's the 1985 reprint of the instructions due to the fact that it has the rub sign information on there. This would not be present in the 1984 version. We got here the clip and save the robot points and how to read the decoder on the thing. So that's interesting. I got an 85 instruction for an 84 toy. This doesn't have the rub sign on it. A fair amount of mine from 84, I do have the 84 version. Only on a handful do I have the 85 with the rub sign. I don't know how I got that lucky on it, folks. I just happened to find them. At any rate, let's take a look at his tech spec. It's done up in red, primarily to show he's an Autobot. It even says Autobot above him. And the picture here would, of course, match the one on the front of the box. It gives his name as Trailbreaker. His function is Defensive Strategist. And his motto is, an Autobot's as good as the fuel in his tank. Trailbreaker makes light of any situation, no matter how serious. Practical joker and cheerleader. Maybe he should have come with some pom-poms. But considers himself a liability to Autobots since he consumes the most fuel. Lacks self-esteem and often asks to be left behind. Projects nearly impenetrable invisible force field. Can jam radio transmissions. Very slow. Often mopes about his handicaps, but his bravery and defensive prowess is unquestioned. So let's line up the decoder here and take a look at his stats. It gives his strength as 7, his intelligence is 6, his speed is 4, and we just reviewed a guy who has speed 3, and Trailbreaker complains. His endurance is 10, his rank is 7, his courage is 9, his firepower is 3, and his skill is 7. So he does have a lot of good points going for him. He is relatively slow, but his defensive prowess and courage should not be underestimated. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of him? Trailbreaker is a good character to have around, as he did seem to be able to help boost the Autobots' morale in most situations. When you add to it that he also has a nearly impenetrable force field, that definitely means that he can protect the Autobots while they try to come up with a way to turn the tide of battle into their favor, or figure a way to get out of the situation they're in. Trailbreaker's problem about consuming the most fuel, well, that's just how his body is designed. Plus, that also ties into his defensive prowess. That force field of his does consume a lot of his fuel. So, that definitely means that when the Autobots need to figure something out while they're under that shield, they really do need to figure something out. Since if Trailbreaker runs out of fuel, he's not going anywhere and will be put into stasis lock. As a toy, the toy's pretty good. The robot mode, as I said, I got a problem with the launchers. I hope it's just a defect on my toy, but I'd love to hear from any of you who own this toy if you had similar problems with it. But aside from that, that's really a minor complaint, since I don't have him out on display. I keep him stored so he doesn't lose his accessories. The truck mode, it's very good for what it is. It sits up high enough that it doesn't drag on the ground, and it rolls very, very well. So, all in all, despite the flaws and shortcomings of this toy, I'm going to put this one in the top tier, folks. This is actually a very good toy, and thus I give it as a challenge to Hasbro with the upcoming Earthrise version. How are you going to improve upon this? We'll find out in the coming months. At any rate, that concludes my review of the Autobot Defensive Strategist Trailbreaker. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and join our ranks. Plus also ring the bell so you'll be notified when I post new content. Please also share this video with your friends and share your thoughts about Trailbreaker in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.